Back again with another review, and this is also for DJ Donnelly. He wanted me to talk about review I Come in Peace, or if you want to call it Dark Angel, but yeah, entertaining flick starring Dolph Lundgren and directed by Craig R. Baxley. And yes, it's one of those flip covers, you know, where you can flip the cover over if you want to, because it's also known as Dark Angel, but I prefer this title. Now I gotta put it back in. This is the fun part. Bear with me. But yeah, I prefer this cover more. I prefer this title more. You know, I really dig the title. But yeah, so this movie here, yeah, I discovered through YouTube. You know, my friends up here, you know, I'd heard them talk about the film, so I picked up this Blu-ray a while back. I forgot which year it was, but, you know, I've had this for a minute. And like I said, it was great to go back and rewatch again. It's definitely underrated, you know, and Dolph Lundgren, when it comes to his work, this film is definitely, it could be my favorite Dolph Lundgren film. Like, it's definitely in the top 3. You know what? In fact, it's probably my favorite Dolph Lundgren film because, you know, also, I love The Punisher. I love Showdown Little Tokyo, Red Scorpion, Men of War, which is another fun Dolph Lundgren film, Universal Soldier. But the more I think about it, I would say this is my favorite Dolph Lundgren film. And the plot here real quick. So basically, you have these two cops in the film, played by Dolph Lundgren and Brian Ben. And you have this alien that comes down, an alien fugitive that forcibly overdoses his victims with a drug in order to siphon off the endorphins produced in their brain. So this alien, played by Matthias Hughes, you know, he's killing off, you know, these people and collecting their endorphins, which is an illegal drug on the planet, or his planet. So it's up to Dolph Lundgren and Brian Ben to, you know, stop this alien fugitive. And you also have this alien bounty hunter that is going after Matthias Hughes, you know, throughout the film. So again, it's up to Dolph Lundgren and Brian Ben to stop this alien, and that's the plot here pretty much. But the cast here, you know, Dolph Lundgren does a great job as Detective Jack Kane. You know, his character is investigating these drug-related murders. And like throughout the film, you know, this alien is killing innocent people where he would inject their heart with this drug, which would produce the endorphins. And then he would take the stabbing tool and go right to the brain to siphon the endorphins. And it's such a cool concept. And I'll talk about more of that in a minute. But again, Dolph Lundgren does a great job. You know, Brian Ben, who plays his partner. Of course, Brian Ben is known for the TV show Dream On. But in this film, you know, he plays a, you know, straight arrow FBI, you know, character. And in the first half of the film, he's very by the books, you know, follow the rules, report every detail, you know, to the higher ups. But in the second half of the film, you know, he warms up, or I should say Dolph, you know, Lundgren warms up to Brian Ben, and they have a really good rapport, a good banter in the second half of the film. You know, that's when they work together as a team to, you know, stop this alien, played by Matthias Hughes. Matthias Hughes as the alien did a really good job. I mean, just the look of the alien and the way he moves, you know, in regards to, you know, some of the action scenes and chase scenes. I mean, this is a guy that, I wonder how tall he is. I mean, he's got to be up there 6'5", or, I mean, he's, you know, he carries himself, you know, again, when it comes to the action and, you know, some of the chase scenes and stuff like that, he's a guy that can definitely move. And, you know, the only line that he has throughout the film is, "I come in peace." You know, I can't do it like he does, but, you know, Matthias Hughes, again, does a great job. You also have Jay Bilas, Jay Bilas, who plays this extraterrestrial police officer that is after, our main villain here. He did fine, and he's not in the film too much, but, it's cool to see that kind of aspect of the film where you have the main villain, which is this alien that's collecting, illegal drugs, the endorphins. But you also have a good alien that is going after, this guy here. And so yeah, I like that aspect to the film. The inspector in the film, played by David Aykroyd, I thought he was fine. Sherman Howard, yeah, from Day of the Dead, he's in this film in the beginning as the leader of this, gang. It's cool to see him in the film. So, again, the cast does a good job. The film moves at a good pace. It's an hour and a half long, and I thought it moved, nicely. Some of the action scenes, I thought were fun, especially in the third act, when Dolph and Brian Benben are working together to, go after this alien. Again, going back to Dolph and Brian Benben, I thought they had a good rapport going on, a good banter, and almost feels like a buddy cop film. So I really enjoyed that aspect, where, Dolph, like in the first half of the film, Dolph is getting tired of Brian Benben. He's like, that's one, and that's two. And then, like, in the second half, he's tired of, all right, that's three. I like that. So, and then in the second half, they kind of, warm up to each other, and it becomes like a buddy cop movie, with, a little bit of sci-fi elements thrown in. And, yeah, I mean, again, the pacing I liked, the direction by Craig R. Baxley. Craig R. Baxley, a year later, would direct Stone Cold. Before this, he directed Action Jackson, and I believe he was like the stunt coordinator on Predator. So Craig R. Baxley, knows how to handle, action scenes and, develop good and entertaining characters. And especially with this movie here, which has such an interesting concept. And I wish that we can get more ideas like this. And that's the thing that really makes this film great to me, is the concept. Just the idea alone of an alien collecting endorphins, via injection of drugs to the heart, with this like little, it's like a little hose, like a little wire, that shoots the drug into the heart. And then he takes this like stabbing tool, and this happens like 3 or 4 times in the film, where he stabs him right in the brain. You can see the endorphins collecting his, like mechanism. And again, it's such an interesting and very cool idea, that I wish, Hollywood today would, dabble in more, instead of the constant reboots, remakes, and prequels and never-ending continuations. Why don't you, think outside the box, do more ideas like this. I'm not saying copy this film 100%, but this is an example of, thinking outside the box, when it comes to, the sci-fi genre, sci-fi action genre, whatever you want to call it. This took, a chance on a very cool idea, and it worked. And I thought it was executed well via the direction by Craig R. Baxley, the cast of Dolph Lundgren and Brian Benben, a good pacing, a great score by Jan Hammer, who's known for the, theme from, the Miami Vice theme. Great composer, especially Crockett's theme. Definitely look up that piece of music. So John Hammer, I don't know how you pronounce his name, but he does a good job with the score. Dun 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 dun. I can't see. I'm not giving him a try to do the score here. I know I mess it up, but in regards to features up here, I've seen these features before, but I didn't go back and rewatch them again. But you do have an interview with the director Craig R. Baxley, in addition with Dolph Lundgren and Brian Benben. And I want to say it's like a 20-minute interview. And this Blu-ray came out back in 2013. I believe it says 2013 right here. You know, so you get an interview with the director, Dolph Lundgren and Brian Benben, but, you know, again, I've seen it before, and I wish it was a little bit, you know, a little bit longer. I think it's maybe 20 minutes or so. I mean, if I have any, like, cons with the film, you know, maybe the stuff with, you know, the girl in the film Dolph Lundgren has a romance with, you know, Betsy Brantley. It's not bad, but I don't think you needed it, if you know what I'm saying. Like, it's not really, it doesn't really add much to the film or the plot or what have you. But yeah, maybe that I could have done without. And then some other stuff that I didn't even mention, almost forgot about, but, you know, like in the beginning, you see some of the weapons from the Alien where he would shoot this disc, and it's almost like, it's almost like, you know, toys the Predator would have, you know, where it would shoot this disc, and, you know, the disc would just travel like this and kill like 5, 6, 7 people, you know, because it's so very, it's like paper thin, and it would just cut their throats or, you know, what have you. And it would just, it's a magnetic disc, you know, that would travel around and kind of ricochet, to, you know, bounce off the walls or, you know, what have you. And I really enjoyed the gun that they have in the film. So, yeah, I wanted to mention that. But, again, Craig R. Baxley does a good job in the direction. And overall, I Come in Peace, or if you want to call it Dark Angel, to me is an entertaining sci-fi action film of the early 90s. You know, again, good job, you know, with the cast. Everybody does a good job. Good rapport between the characters. It's definitely an interesting concept that we don't see often. And I wish that you know, they would take more chances on an idea. You know, again, I'm not saying, you know, copy this film 100%, but, you know, this is something different. This is a different, you know, concept that I would like to see more of. And it worked. And good score again, good pacing. And if you haven't seen I Come in Peace, definitely give it a watch. I recommend it. But thank you to DJ Donnelly for suggesting this film. It was great to watch again, but that's my review of I Come in Peace. Again, thank you for watching, and have a good day.